So real estate with Jess and Brandon, and today what we're talking about is home buying. So not necessarily a first-time home buyer, just any buyer in general. Brandon, what is the first step?
You're so formal, I like it. Great question, Jessica. The very first step in buying your first house is to get pre-approved for a mortgage.
Or any house, not just your first house.
Sorry, any house. Still to get pre-approved for a mortgage. So if you're getting a house, you want to make sure that if you need a mortgage on it, that you're able to get that mortgage. And therefore, you should speak with a mortgage broker or the bank to get pre-approved for said mortgage.
That's true, unless you're paying cash, of course, but not many people are doing that these days. So yeah, getting a mortgage pre-approval so you know what you can actually afford. Not only knowing what you can afford, but making sure you're comfortable with it, because they may give you a range that you're approved for, but you may not want to spend that much. So crunching all the numbers first with your mortgage agent to say, I know we're approved for 900, but we're not comfortable paying that high of a mortgage. What if we only spent 700? What would that look like?
Yeah.
And also taking property taxes into consideration, all that stuff. So getting the finances sorted is number one. Often people won't take you seriously if you haven't at least done that crucial first step. So there's that, of course. And next up, again, finding a realtor. So how do you do that? How do you find a good realtor to help you on your home buying journey?
Fantastic question again, 2 for 2. So if you're choosing a real estate agent, I would say some of the key things when they're helping you buy a house is obviously being local. I think that's really important and understated.
They need to be around, understand the local market for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You see it too often where someone, outside area agent, there's some large cities around here we can say Toronto, come to Peterborough and list a property and it's not even close to where market value should be. And it might just be because they don't know the area well. But in terms of the buying side, knowing, if there's a development that's happening nearby, or if an area is going through like gentrification or certain changes and things, different proposals. For instance, like there's a neighborhood in Peterborough in the north end where there is a proposal for townhouses to be built. Be able to identify and look into that. So an agent that's local, I would say an agent too that has a lot of experience and knows how to negotiate when they're submitting an offer for you on a house. And they have good resources, like good contractors that they can recommend, home inspectors, lawyers, home insurance. You're going to need these people throughout the transaction. And if they don't give you multiple names and numbers of people that you can call to get quotes or ask questions for, then it's going to lower the odds of finding the right person. And making sure too that the agent has a good understanding of the things to maybe look for in a house, that can kind of complement how you're looking at a house.
Right.
So what I mean is, like, if I'm buying a house and I'm looking at it and I know where I want my couch to go or where to put a TV or all that stuff, like, I don't really need the agent showing me the house being like, hey, here's a living room, in case you didn't know that, and you can put the TV over here and the couch here and all that stuff. Personally, I wouldn't really want that. I'd want an agent that's able to go, oh, there's a water stain in the basement. I don't know if you noticed, but that could mean the basement has had water right there. Or it's musty, as like a water example. Or there's galvanized plumbing, and this is what that means.
Right. So the agent is important after getting the pre-approval.
Yeah.
And nailing down with them your criteria, right? Because they're going to be looking for houses for you and they might be sending you listings. So you want to make sure that your criteria is correct when you give it to them, right?
Yeah. And making sure too, like, you're on the same page in terms of maybe schedules and their availability. So if the agent doesn't want to work on Sundays, they should be upfront and tell you that right away.
Oh,
you
for
should
sure.
be okay with it or not. If you're not, then choose another real estate agent. If you're fine with it, then fantastic and move forward, right? So having that open, honest conversation about how responsive they are, making sure you can trust their answers, and you like that honesty and trust, I think, is paramount in a successful relationship.
Oh, definitely. Huge.
Yeah, buying a house or anything.
If you don't have trust with the realtor, then like you have nothing.
Exactly.
The other stuff doesn't matter.
Well, it makes it hard, right? Like, imagine you go into the whole process and they said to you, yeah, I work Sundays, no worries. And every time you want to see a house on a Sunday, they're like, can you go to the open house instead? And you're like, what? Like, I thought we said you're fine. And then you're like, well, I've already been working with them for a month. Like, I don't want to have that awkward conversation and fire him.
Right, for sure. You need to be honest and upfront with clients. And then once a client has found a realtor, nailing down the criteria, starting to look at houses. And again, like, people will often apologize when they look at a house and say, like, oh, we didn't like that one. It was too small. It wasn't the right fit. And they're apologizing to us. But really, our job is to help them figure out what they want too. So sometimes it takes viewing properties, even that they're not interested in, to figure out what it is that they're interested in.
Yeah.
Or sometimes clients realize what they want by looking at properties, and what they originally told you they wanted is not what they want. So you need to work with them through that process.
Kind of like
And
they reprioritize what the different aspects are. Like if they're like, oh, I need a double wide driveway and a 2-car garage, maybe for that price point, they're like, you know what, like that 2-car garage is really limiting it, but the double wide driveway, I think we can hold on that criteria. Like we can keep that criteria, and we'll look at 1-car garages now. And it takes like seeing them to identify that. And then I would also say that every house has an MLS sheet, so your agent should always be sending you that. Like that's like a mandatory thing, plus any documents on file and reviewing that with you. And then the third piece is asking questions, knowing what questions to ask. How are the neighbors? Why are they selling? Any flexibility on the price? What's feedback been like? A lot of showings. What closing date do you want? Any water issues in the basement? Any open permits? Like all these different things you can ask.
So finding a good agent to help is definitely key. Getting the financial stuff in order as well, and understanding all of the financial aspect. That's so huge. Like you can't really start shopping until you fully grasp all that. And one thing that people often don't know is that if you don't know if you can get pre-approved for a mortgage or not, you can still talk to a mortgage broker to go over your situation. They might say that you can't get a mortgage, but they'll tell you what you need to do. Like you need to save more money, you need to be at your job a little bit longer, you need to get your credit score up. So often I find that people hesitate because they are nervous that they don't meet all the criteria, but they don't really know until they sit down with the mortgage broker.
Yeah.
So that is huge. And then finding the realtor, starting to look at properties, figure out where they want to be. What else would you say are part of the steps for when someone's buying a house, aside from finding the realtor and getting pre-approved?
Yeah, and I really like what you said about the approval, whether or not you're there yet or not, because then you can kind of create a plan to get there, and that's the reality for a lot of people, right? Like, oh, I didn't realize my truck debt is making it so I can't buy here where I thought I could, and you come up with a plan, or I have a credit score issue or something. Once you have all that done and you're working with the agent and you're out looking at houses, then it's a matter of just finding the right house, so shopping for the house. And that could take you 3 houses or it could take you 300. The agent should never make you feel like if it's taking it's taking too long.
Right, for sure. Because it's such a big purchase, you can't rush it.
Rushed, no. And sometimes it's hard because like a house comes up, it's priced well. As you're realizing, what you like, I always say to people, like, if you have a criteria and it checks all that off logically, right? Like, I want a fenced yard, I want this, I want that, it's got all that. Maybe it doesn't just you don't have that feeling in the end, like, this is home, right? And that's not something we can help with.
Right.
It's like marrying the right person. I can't, be like, that's it, based on what you said. It's based on a feeling you get, right? Same thing with the house. So that last box, that feeling box, once that's also checked off, that means you found the right house. And then at that point, it like takes time to get there. And I think the agent needs to be very, very patient with people to make sure that some people can get there quick, some people can take a long time.
Oh yeah, everyone's different, and you have to work with them. The feeling thing is huge, and now like I can see when people have that feeling. I just had a first-time home buyer where I explained that to him, and at first he didn't really know what I meant. And we looked at a house in the North End, and he's like, it would work. I like it. I was like, I don't think it's the right house for you. You don't have that feeling. He's like, you keep saying that, and I've been thinking about that. He didn't still really know what I meant. And then the house that he did end up buying in the South End, as soon as we walked out the door, he's like, you know how you said at the North End house that I would just have like a feeling? He's like, I'm like, oh, I know you have a feeling. I can tell by the way you're different in this house. He's like, yeah, how do we offer? You should feel when you leave the house, like you don't want to lose it. Like you're like, how do I get this? What's the next step? What do we sign? You can feel the energy that people have.
Exactly.
When it's not the right house, they kind of walk out like, I guess it could work. And it's like, no, it's not right. So you have to have that feeling. That's so huge. Where you want to put in an offer. You're pumped about it. You want to know what the next steps are. You want to do it right away. You don't want anyone else to take the house.
Yeah, exactly. Great points. So then, let's say you found it. Now it's time to like write an offer. And when you write an offer on a house, you go over like the price that you're paying, and there's like all advice the agent should be giving you based off of that. Like so many things that go into like recommending price, and then deposit amount, which is part of your down payment. So it goes to the bank, it goes with your mortgage and your down payment to pay off the seller on closing, and then you own the house.
Yeah, the offer thing is kind of a whole other thing, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay, I'll skip on. So you do the offer.
you do the offer with the
don't go over
realtor.
the offer. It's too much.
It is
Yeah.
quite a bit. So, and it's
Yeah,
all
no, for
different
sure.
situations, right? So going over the offer and
Yep.
then
And then once it's accepted, then you would finalize and arrange your home insurance on the house, finalize and arrange mortgage on the house, whether or not there's a condition in the offer. If you need, you need
Yeah.
insurance and you probably need a mortgage.
any inspections that you have in the offer that you want to do,
Home inspection.
or well or septic or
Yeah, and that takes about like a week or so usually after
And
the offer's accepted.
one thing that's important to know is because people are like, wait, what? Like, what am I putting in the offer? But we guide them through that.
Yeah.
If there's an oil tank or a wood stove or a septic or a well. So they don't have to think too much about that because, if you're experienced in dealing with, selling rural properties and selling properties, you know how to advise them. And they would get that explained to them at the time.
Yeah.
But one thing to note that everybody asks is that the buyers do pay for those inspections.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So then, say you're satisfied with your financing, your home insurance, set inspections, then you would remove the conditions from the offer if you're satisfied with all that, making the deal firm. So now the sold sign can go up and like you're committed to the house. Why are you laughing?
My cup is huge.
It is huge, bigger than her face. So then you go and do a couple viewings on the house to make sure that nothing's been damaged, everything's okay. Take a picture out front for fun with the sold sign. Shoot some fireworks off in the back, throw the person in the air. And then after you do the viewings, you meet with the lawyer and you sign all the papers, go over title insurance. And then after that, you'd have the closing day where you then
And the
get
closing days. Yeah, when you get the keys and you get to move in.
yeah, which is the best day, and you actually own the house at that point in time. Once.
And there's a lot of other information about like the final walkthroughs, the inspections, what happens if there's something wrong with the house, all this. But reach out to us if you have any questions about that. We'd be happy to sit down and do kind of like a consult with you, which we both do usually when we have buyers that reach out and are looking at hiring a realtor, just to kind of go over all those things, which I feel helps make them feel really prepared to move forward.
I think it's necessary to go over the
definitely.
process, closing costs, how the mortgage pre-approval works, all that stuff.
And it's free, and it's our job, and we don't mind.
Yeah, no, definitely don't mind. And I mean, like, I'm like upset if I can't do it because then I know
Oh,
it's
yeah.
putting someone in a position where they got to make decisions without having more context.
Or you're trying to kind of do the consultation when you meet them at showings when
which
it's
is not
difficult. It's
the
nice
right
to sit
time.
down first.
Yeah, because when you're seeing a house, you want to be seeing the house,
Right.
not talking about what.
But
you're
that stuff
looking
is
for.
important. You need to talk to them about it. So there have been times we're at a showing
Yeah,
because I'm meeting them the first time at a showing.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
Good point. And that's how you buy a house, everyone. Go buy all the houses. We done! We did it, Jess!